Hey guys, I'm Sean Carpenter with the Woodland Outdoor Adventures. Hey, today guys, I'm going to show you how to change a small boat like this. Whether you have a John boat, this is a little plastic boat, doesn't really matter. The biggest thing about those boats is this middle seat right here, guys. To have to climb over that thing every time you want to go from the front to the back is a pain in the rear. So I'm going to show you a quick little fix on how to take care of that. Stay tuned, guys. What you're going to need here is a roll of carpet, and you're going to measure so that you don't buy more carpet than you actually need. Some of the tools you're going to need here, as you see, you're going to need a hammer tacker, you're going to need T150 staples, and these are 1/4 inch staples. You have a razor knife and then a marker. Okay guys, what we're going to do is we're going to start out with a piece of plywood, and we're going to cut the plywood to the dimension and the length of your boat on the inside. So if you want to cover just the back, just do the back section up to where that middle seat is. If you want to do the front and back and put a lid in the front so you can still have access to the bottom of the boat, and also in the back of the boat, here I have cut out, as you can see here, and I've cut that out for a reason so that I have a box that I can actually stick my battery in, and I can still have access through the lid. It's a great thing to have, so make sure that you take all of that into consideration before you start adding your carpet, which I'm going to show you how to do that also. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the piece of plywood to make sure that it fits the diameter of the boat itself. Here, as you can see, there's a ridge that runs along this edge. Back here you see there's plenty of space, and this also adds a stability for the plywood. The plywood is also going to come up on this middle seat here, which is going to give you plenty of stability in these compartments. I've added a section here with a piece of 2x4 and here, and what that does is just give me where this comes across a little more stability. I don't want to drill into the sides of my boat, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use liquid nails, and I'm going to glue, whether it be a 1x or a 2x4, along that edge, and then I'm going to let that dry for a couple of days, put it out in the sun, and let the sun just bake it so that that stays tight to the side of the boat. Then what I'm going to do is stick my piece of plywood in there to make sure that it fits again, and then I'm going to start adding the carpet to it. So I'm going to flip this jewel over, and I'm going to show you how to add the carpet. So I always cut my carpet about a good 2 to 3 inches wider than what I actually need for the width of the plywood. So I'm going to cut in the back, in the front, and on the sides wider than what I need. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to staple the carpet itself to the bottom of the plywood. So when I flip this over, there will be no staple showing, and it should hold tight because I'm going to screw it back down to the boat itself. Okay guys, we're about to tack the carpet down on the plywood. So what I'm going to use, this thing here is called a hammer tacker. You can get these at most any hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot, Ace Hardware. A lot of people carry these guys. And again, it's called a hammer tacker. And what it does, it shoots staples, and basically the staples are just T150 staples, as you can see. This thing only holds up to a 1/4 inch staple, so guys, don't make the mistake of going and buying 1/2 inch or 3/8 or anything other than a 1/4 inch staple to go in this jewel. You make that mistake, you'll be taking those staples back. So what I'm going to do with this hammer tacker, guys, I'm going to come along this edge right here that you can see, and I'm going to tack it down with this hammer tacker. And what you're going to do is just take this thing and you're going to pull your carpet tight on one side. You're going to start on the side because in my boat it has a little bit of a curve to the inside of the boat. So when I cut my plywood, it still has that curve. So my carpet also has to have that tendency to curve along with that plywood. I'll tack some of it down and I'll show you what it looks like. So I started on this side here and I haven't tacked anything else. When I get to like where the ripples are, I'll show you exactly how to cut it and then how to staple it down also. Okay guys, I'm going to show you how to fix those creases when they come up. You can see here that I've already actually stapled some of the creases down, but again, this part here still comes to where one of those creases were. So what I did again, I took my razor knife and I cut this carpet all the way to the edge, but not past that edge, guys. So You want to cut that, and then you just want to pull that carpet tight so that it brings this edge here really nice and tight, so you still have that curve in there. And that's important because when you put it back in the boat, it has to have pretty much that same diameter, that same width across. So you want to pull that up, and then what you're going to do is take that hammer tacker again, and you're just going to tack that down. Simple as that, guys. Then what you want to do with the rest of it, as you see, this thing comes at more of an angle this way, so it's not straight, it comes back at an angle. So what you want to do is you want to pull it tight to where this angle stops all the way over here. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to pull that carpet tight all the way to the edge there, and again, we're going to use the hammer tacker, and we're going to put about 4 staples there just to hold that. Now, I don't know if you can see, but there's a crease right here that sticks up, right here. And what it does, it comes along here, and if I tried to staple that down, it would create a big wad over here in this corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it tight on that edge again. I'm going to take my hammer tacker. I'm going to put a couple of more staples in it. And then when I get to this side right here, again, there's that crease that sticks up. So again, I'm going to take my razor knife, and I'm going to come to just before the edge, and I'm going to cut that crease right in the center of that crease. And what that's going to allow me to do, again, pull this piece down and stretch this up tight. So now I don't have anything there but a perfect line across there. So what I'm going to do again is take my hammer tacker, and I'm going to put about maybe 5 or 6 more staples in there. And I'm going to continue to staple this down. And there it is, guys. All I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing all the way around this thing, and once I get to the other side, I'm going to do it basically the same side, or the same way. When I get to those corners, I'm going to fold them. Where those creases go, I'm going to cut that crease, and then I'm just going to staple her down, guys. I'm going to move on down, staple a little more down through here, and again, I'm just going to pull that carpet tight. I'm going to take my hammer tacker. Same thing here. I'm just going to keep going down the edge of this thing, pulling it tight. And what we're going to wind up with is another little hump right here. So again, we're going to take that razor knife. We're going to go in the middle of that hump. And we're just going to cut that just before the edge again. We're going to pull that seam tight. A couple of staples. Same thing again. We're just going to overlap that. Guys, one thing I want to stress about this hammer tacker, you don't want to get too close to your fingers, because trust me, not only will you feel the pain of you hammering down on that joker with this thing, but that staple going in your finger. So make sure you give yourself plenty of room when you're hitting that staple down, that you're not hitting your fingers, guys. Keep that in mind. It's very, very important. You don't want to staple your finger to the wood. So what we're going to do is just go along, pull that tight again, stapling, pulling it tight, going along stapling, and again over here. We're coming to the corner over here again, guys, and we're going to do it the same way. We're just going to keep going around that corner a little bit at a time. Again, we're going to pull those ripples, cut them, and then put them in place and staple them. So let me get to the other corner. I'll flip this jewel over and we'll see how she looks, guys. Okay, guys, we have the finished product here. And as you can see, man, this thing is good and tight. The corners are good and tight. And as you can see, I have a seat pedestal in the middle. So instead of me putting the carpet down, then putting the pedestal on top of the carpet, what I did was went ahead and put the pedestal on the plywood and then the carpet over that. So what it does, it covers all of that metal. You don't have to worry about your foot hitting that or catching that bolt and tripping out of the boat or twisting your ankle or missing fish. Who knows, guys? So what this does is basically give you a really nice surface here. I'll show you guys exactly what this thing looks like in the boat and how great it works and how great it looks. And once I get this laid in here, you can see the sides are tight as can be, guys. So what I'm going to do then, I'm going to go where my lid is for my battery box. And then I'm just going to take my razor knife, cut the two sides and the back, and the lid will open up. Now, what you have is a lid that will open. Room for you to get your battery in and out. And you have a closable lid, guys. Simple as that. What I'm going to do along this edge is I'm going to put a little glue along this edge where this lid is, just to hold the sides and not in the back. And that's simple as can be, guys. And as you can see now, I'm going to climb up in here and I'm going to show you what I have now. Instead of me being down in that boat having to step over this, I've got all this here that I can walk. So that saves me from having to walk, step over this thing to get whatever I want to get. You can do this throughout the whole boat. You can do the front, you can do the back, or you can do both. One other little tip, guys. I used 1/2-inch plywood, and that's why I added that section across here for support. You can use 3/4-inch plywood if you want to. It's much heavier, adds a lot more weight to your boat. I made this so that it would be lightweight because I want my boat lightweight. So I only use 1/2-inch. If your boat is wider and you feel comfortable with 3/4, use 3/4, guys, but it doesn't really matter. Just get this project done, make your boat look good, and stop all that aggravation of climbing over that seat. Hey, until next time, keep your lines tight and your hooks in the water.